Kemi Badenoch was meant to be the reboot for the Conservative Party after the demise of the Sunak premiership, the mess of Liz Truss, with its mixture of exhausted caution and media management. Badenoch was sold to the public and to her party as the necessary shock to the system, bold, plain-speaking, ideologically coherent. Yet 4 months in, her leadership has stalled before it has ever started. Even her own party is beginning to ask, where's the plan? What's the point? Who is this person? Lord Hutchin, the only remaining Conservative Metro Mayor, has issued perhaps the most devastating critique yet. Not from a Labour opponent, not from a metropolitan journalist, but from a figure within the party who wins elections, from her own party. According to Hutchin, Badenoch is not doing enough to win back the public. She has, in his own words, failed to cut through, and is being consistently outpaced by the right of Nigel Farage's Reform UK. Farage, of course, is not offering anything new. His message on immigration, energy, national sovereignty is a retread of the 2012 Conservative playbook. And here lies the problem. Reform is simply saying it louder, simpler and first. Meanwhile, Badenoch is caught in an intellectual holding pattern, delivering speeches to think tanks, not to voters, commissioning reviews instead of issuing policies, and in a revealing line, Hutchin remarks, "We don't live in a world of academia and think tanks," and he's right. Politics is a street fight, and Badenoch has brought a notepad to a knife duel, and she can't even read the words on the notepad when she's standing in front of Keir Starmer on a regular meeting on a Wednesday morning. She is useless, useless, useless. One might ask, what has she actually done? Her most headline-grabbing intervention has been to denounce 2050 net zero target as impossible. It's a disaster! Well, she did that as well. This is populist rhetoric masquerading as realism. In rejecting net zero, she seeks to portray herself as the rational voice in a room full of green fantasists. Yet this undermines a policy her own party spent over a decade constructing, one that was increasingly framed as an energy security plan, not merely an environmental one. And the economic case for net zero is persuasive. As the UCL study reminds us, it is imported gas, not solar panels, that has driven electricity bills skyward. Renewables are not the problem, they're part of the solution. Far from bankrupting Britain, the shift to clean energy is insulating it from fossil price volatility. Badenoch's attack on the green transition is not an act of leadership, it's a rearguard retreat. It's flatulence, and it gets worse. Badenoch's... I mention flatulence. It's like the person who's bending down and suddenly breaks wind enormously, and you all pretend it hasn't happened. As Edith Evans said, this place has gone down dreadfully. And it gets worse. Badenoch's handling of Prime Minister's questions, one of the few regular set pieces in modern British politics which you should be able to prepare for, and particularly if you're asking the questions, is uneven at best. Her performances are described as scattergun. Missing open goals, lacking coherence, lacking preparation, lacking the ability to think on her feet. Yet PMQs is more than a theatrical ritual. It's a litmus test for a leader's authority in two critical arenas, the Parliamentary Conservative Party and the media class, and she is failing in both. Even her own MPs are restless. Some, like Suella Braverman and Robert Jenrick, are positioning themselves as potential for a potential coup. Could you imagine Suella Braverman taking over the Conservative Party? That is the end, not of the Conservative Party, that's the end of politics. She's already had her day, and she produced 3 of the worst laws on record that challenge international law, that make us, Britain, an illegal country. The Nationality and Borders Act, the Illegal Immigration Act, and the Rwanda Act. 3 laws that challenged the courts and challenged the 1951 Refugee Convention. If Suella Braverman actually wanted to do something, she should have organised an international conference and actively challenged that convention together. And everybody would have been grateful. Braverman plays the ideological purist. Jenrick, the workhorse technocrat. The person blessed with a Damascene conversion. Oh, for God's sake, can't he have another one? The whispering about successors is no longer confined to anonymous WhatsApp groups. Nigel Farage himself quipped that she'd be lucky to survive past June. That may be hyperbole, but it no longer sounds absurd. Financially, the party is brittle. Staff cuts loom at CCHQ, morale is low, and Reform is consistently ahead of the Conservatives in national polls by 3 to 5 points, even after the disaster of Low-Key, Arthur, Reginald, Rupert, Rob Lowe. A political humiliation that would have been unthinkable even 2 years ago, and yet Badenoch's response is oddly passive. She insists that this is a time for reflection, not reaction. It's like thinking of the Queen in Snow White staring in a mirror and thinking that's going to give her all her answers. Long-term planning, not press releases. But politics, to borrow her own words, is not a seminar. It is increasingly a battle of impressions, and the impression being formed is this: Kemi Badenoch has ideas but no instinct. And the ideas are second-rate, got from somebody else. Speeches, no strategy, and the speeches are written by someone else. She can't even read most of the time. Flair, but no follow-through. Her defenders point to a more methodical approach. Pizza lunches with MPs. That's not method. That's munching. More symbolic policy pivots. A commitment to rebuild trust. It's a commitment to more tomato ketchup, but the electorate isn't waiting for trust. It's drifting away. Centre-left to Labour, hard-left to Reform, the rest to the Lib Dems or apathy. As things stand, Badenoch is presiding over the greatest political pincer movement since the Liberal Party's collapse in the 1920s. And that, if you think about it, is not so much to do with the First World War, but to do with Asquith's long tenure. Badenoch is presiding over disaster. It'll be a disaster. If she cannot recover by the May local elections, she will not recover at all. She will not recover at all. The brutal truth is this: Kemi Badenoch is failing not because she is radical, but because she is irrelevant. She is a has-been, as is Suella Braverman, as frankly is Robert Jenrick. If you're going to turn the clock, turn the clock back significantly. Otherwise, turn the clock forward. Find somebody else, a nondescript, to at least hold the party together. But not this nonsense. Not this nonsense. The public doesn't feel her presence. The party doesn't feel her command. And Reform, for all its flaws, feels like momentum. In politics, you do not get to choose your battlefield, but you must fight on it. And right now, Kemi Badenoch is losing the war. And the Conservatives are losing the war. And they have only one choice, and that's to get rid of this rubbish.